Thanks for being here. Let's begin. So you get a sense of the sit bones, the tailbone, our pelvis on the ground. And if you're working with eyes open, allow your sight, your eyes, to move to a singular object or area. And it's a gentle move. There's a little bit of convergence, perhaps. And even as your eyes remain with that singular object, note that you can expand and include a little more peripheral information. The eyelids grow soft, the brow area grows soft, and we'll connect to our breath. And connect your breath in and through the center of your chest. So again, our butt's on the ground, we can feel that, we sense that. Our eyes connect to a stationary area. The eyes relax, including more and more of the visual information around that area. And we're deepening our breath, which we can feel in the center of chest. And now let the center of chest sensation take prominence over the visual region. And if you want to close your eyes, you can close your eyes to simply remove visual information. Our breath work will be very simple, 10, 10, 10. So holding that quiet, that kind of quietness of the eye, 10 count inhale into the center of chest. And if you are holding your breath, if you're able to hold your breath, there may be some medical considerations there. We'll hold our breath 10 count. Softening the hands as we hold the breath. Softening the hip crease area as we hold the breath. 10 count exhale. We'll do that twice more. You'll do it at your pace and at your own prompting. So continue. You can do this eyes open or eyes closed, but all of that preamble was just to help us feel the eyes grow. Kind of like help the eyes rest. If you are working eyes open, I think it's really interesting to note what happens to our visual field as we're going through this breath work, and maybe it is interesting to notice what happens to your visual field as we go throughout our practice and the rest of these poses. So the artifacts of sight, for our purposes, will be used just to verify the breadth of our vision field. So when you're through with that, let's set the right leg out, keeping the left knee bent. Feeling both sit bones on the ground. Inhale, let's go both arms straight up. And exhale, reach with your arms, your right arm especially, your right side ribs leaning, reaching to the right. I'm simply going to set my right hand down and move my left hand just a bit to the left, so it's vertical or just left of vertical. So everything will transfer whether your eyes are open or eyes are closed. As you're taking these next several breaths in this chest opening move, if your eyes are open, can you feel an expansion of your visual field? I'm not moving the eyes to expand the field. I'm not locking the eyes into a fixed position. I'm letting them come to rest in a spot. And if you're working drishti or traditional eye locations, that becomes the epicenter of the field. And just start to note what happens in your body as that vision field dilates, as that vision field tunnels or withdraws. I think that would be kind of cool and interesting. Inhale, come upright. Find your loop, your strap, wherever that is. And create a loop that's shoulder width. Shoulder width. Okay. And slip the loop around your wrists. Now, I'm going off of the direction of my pelvis. So the direction my pelvis faces, I set my torso to face that direction, and I bring my arms up to face that direction. So I'm kind of on a 45-degree angle relative to my thigh bones. Bring the elbows up to shoulder altitude. Perfect. Inhale, bring the back of your head over the back of the pelvis and lightly start to draw the wrists outward into the wrist, strap. And as you're exhaling, draw the elbows in, at least under the wrists. You might even bring those elbows a bit more narrowly than the wrists. Oh, hang on there. We're just getting started. Okay. Inhaling into the upper back. The wrists draw apart against the strap. Exhale, draw the elbows under the wrists or closer than the wrists, and elevate the arms about an inch. All right, how's that vision feel? Let's select a spot, a region. Inhale. Drawing the wrists against that strap. Exhale, squeeze, bring the elbows under the wrists at the least and elevate the elbows another inch. And release. Should be a nice alternative to some of those shoulder moves that we often do. So it just works a little differently. Let's switch sides. We'll set the left leg out. The right knee is bent. Inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale, reach with the arms, especially the left. Reach with that left side rib cage. Set that left hand down. Let this right hand move to the right. Just right of vertical. Let the eyes rest in a little visual nest. You can look at your thumb tip. And then as you're connecting to breath, let the visual field open back up. And feel what happens in your body. So our body is a perceptual field. Our eyes are perceptual. Our body is perceptual. Right? There's this idea, this notion where to limit our perception, to refuse information, I find there's ramifications in all of our perceptual faculties. So to withdraw from feeling, knowing, seeing, hearing anything is to subtly withdraw from seeing, feeling, knowing, hearing other aspects of our person in our life. And always check the work. Confirm for yourself what's happening in your body. Inhale, we'll come upright. And we'll grab that loop. Once again, we'll slip our wrists in. We'll give it a second go. I'm basing this arm position off of my pelvic direction. I'm pointing the way my pelvis points, and then bringing elbows in front of shoulders, just like we would unlocking the shoulder. I'm drawing the wrists against the strap. Inhale. Exhale, wrangle the elbows under the wrists or even more narrowly. So continue that deep, deep inhalation. Wrists move against the strap, elbows wrangle underneath the loop, and we'll move the elbows up inch by inch for the next few breaths. If you need more challenge, draw the wrists against the strap more firmly. Nice. Let's set up for dolphin. So that principle, what you were just doing with the loop and all that wonderful, maybe hot sensation in the backs of the shoulders, it can apply right here in our setup and in our dolphin. So if it's helpful to imagine the wrists drawing apart and the elbows wrangling together, inhale into the upper back, the sides of the ribs. And exhaling, we'll press the knees off the ground. Now, listening to the shoulders, the body, the cells, are you able to feel the sensation and observe your own visual field? Does it change shape? Does it dilate? Does it shrink? Does it tunnel? And if the sun hasn't risen where you are yet, remember, this carries over. So even if your eyelids are closed and you're bereft of visual information, you can feel the motion and the movement of the eye, the eyelids, the eyeball, the brow. You can feel that softening. You can feel if you're receiving more sense impressions and information, or if you're subtly refusing information. We can feel that. We're just using the eyes as kind of a metric, a little experimental metric. Keep pulling the wrists apart even though they don't move. Keep tweezing the elbows together even though they don't move. And can you feel your breath occurring in those backs of shoulders, shoulder joints, as you're pressing the earth? There you go. Yeah. See those ribs moving. There it is. Yeah, there's some distinctness between the ribs and the blades. Nice. Yeah. All right, let's gently set the knees down. That's a good amount of shoulder find for the meanwhile. We can do some abdominals, and the hope is that we don't overdo them. So let's lie on our back. So overdoing them might consist of so much forceful muscular activation that the pelvis kind of rocks and rolls and the back lifts and the gap increases and decreases in that area between the ground and the spine. So the setup is fundamental to the rest of the abdominals. So I bend my knees, my feet are on the ground, and there's this sweet little place my back contacts the ground. It's more my sacrum. And there's this sweet little air pocket around my low back. Okay, so I'm going to preserve that. I can hold that, I can maintain that, and I can breathe into that. Okay, so how do I hold this or maintain this placement? those muscles right between my hip bones. If you just give off a little cough, a tiny little cough or a laugh, you can feel them with your fingertips right between the hip bones. That's perfect. So you can activate those muscles, those coughing muscles. The pelvis stays absolutely in this place, this placement. And your breath can access your pelvis. So we have not restricted our breathing. That's important. This is not a bracing. Inhale. I'm going to lift the head and the shoulder blades up so my front ribs unflare. A nice little pocket of space still exists between my low back and the ground. Give off just a little if you need to remember those muscles. And now exhale, I reach the left leg out. But if I reach the leg out and I feel the weight shifting all over my pelvis, maybe I went too fast. Draw the low belly down. Inhaling, I set the left foot down. You can feel those little muscles down there. Exhale, I pick the right leg up. Pick the shoulder blades up, drawing the low belly down. Right? So a little up-level move. Inhale, bring the right foot back to the ground. Feel your breath expand the ribs into the ground, backward. Behind you. Yeah, feel that behind you breath. The pelvis stays steady. Exhaling, lift, reach the left leg. Foot off the ground, send it out. Draw the low belly down. Inhale, bring the left foot down to the ground. Exhale, the right leg reaches up. We'll do two more. Inhale as you set the right foot down. Feel the breath expand the ribs backward into the mat. The pelvis stays in place because those little coughing muscles are holding the pelvis really quite quiet. Exhale, reaching the left leg, lifting it. So I can move the leg without moving the pelvis. And that's one of the ideas with this. Draw the low belly down. All right, do the right side and then do each side once again. Overwhelmingly, I would say statistically overwhelmingly, most people, like 99% of us, maybe 99.9% of us, may miss the breathing into the back of the ribs, feeling the breath expand backward and groundward. Why would we miss it? Because I have to activate so much more of the front of my body. It's more work. And then just release by setting the head down. The feet are already down. All right. And then grab your roll or your block, whichever object that you have. With your right hand, hold the object against your right thigh. Pick your right foot off the ground. And now place your left elbow, boop, on that block. So I may have to turn the block. I may have to, add some, okay, tumbling things around. All right, so my left elbow is pressing a block against my right thigh. My right foot's off the ground. My left foot is on the ground. Inhale into the back side of the ribs. And exhale, press this left elbow into this right thigh. Block mediates that. Pelvis stays quietly on the ground. Now, I'm walking or sliding my left heel forward, meaning away from my head. But I'm doing it breath by breath. You can still breathe into the corset, into the torso. And the pelvis hasn't rolled to the left or to the right. Can you feel that? Take one or two more breaths. Breathing the ribs backward into the ground, groundward. Pressing elbow into block, into right thigh. And using all of those in between the hip muscles, the calf muscles, to maintain a steady, quiet pelvis. Good. Good. Bend that left knee, set that foot back on the ground. We'll switch sides. All right. Block, touch it to your left thigh. Right elbow, hold it to your left thigh. You'll have to pick your left foot up to make that connection if we are to keep the head on the ground. Feel the pelvis. Did it start to rock and roll? Probably. So we're using those in between the hip muscles, those ones. The pelvis stays steady. We can breathe. Begin your breath in the back of the body, the back of the ribs. Now I'm going to hold this left foot up. I'm going to hold this block between my elbow and my thigh. Breath by breath, I'll start to walk or slide my right foot forward, away from my chin, and keep sliding it, almost straightening it. Go breath by breath on this. It's okay that breathing feels really interestingly challenging. If it's not challenging to you, push your right elbow into that block, pull your leg into that block, just add some more oomph into the block, and it will be challenging in no time. And release. So that is twisting without twisting. That is an enormous amount of what we can do when we are in twisting poses. For example, twisting warrior. All right, let's turn onto a side and press to standing. Standing at the top of mat, maybe with a new appreciation for breathing into the backside of the body. Inhale, draw the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step the left foot back, lunge. Place the hands down. When you plant them, you can imagine pulling the wrists apart. Exhale, step the right foot back, and as you lower, draw the shoulders away from the neck. Set the hands forward. Inhale, cobra. You can draw the wrists apart. They're not actually moving. You can swim the hands backward. They're not actually moving. Exhale, lower down, downward dog. Reset the hands under the chest, press back. Remaining in downward dog. Those moves that we did with the strap, we'll recreate them a bit. The hands don't move on the ground, but you can feel as if drawing wrists away from wrist. Rolling, rotating, like a rotisserie, the elbows right between the wrist and shoulder. Push the palms away from the sit bones. The sit bones reach away from the palms. And as you connect to a deep breath, feel how your eyes, your body, is it taking in information? Is it open to information? Is it creating contractures, resisting, refusing information? It may not take a whole lot of perturbation or novelty to feel a refusal of information. Lunge, inhale, left foot between the hands. Bring the hands down to the ground. Exhale, step right foot forward. Folding. Inhale, stand. Arms reaching overhead. Exhaling, hands to heart. We'll go a bit more swiftly this round. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right foot back, lunge. Hands to ground, exhale, left foot back, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, right foot forward, lunge. Hands to ground. Exhale, left foot forward, fold. Inhale, drawing the arms up. Now that our eyes are basically on the horizon, get a sense of the visual field. Is it expanding or contracting? Exhale, hands to heart. Now let's pause right here. So you can have another breath moment to feel if your visual field or your heart field, your body field is expanding or contracting. Or maybe there's just a segment, an area that draws in. Right? Maybe it's one side. All right, chair pose. Inhale, bend knees, reach arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Monkey, inhale, chest lifts away from thighs. Set the hands down, exhale, we'll step backward, jump back, your pleasure, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Swimming the hands back. Exhaling, downward dog. Inhale, let's step a left foot forward and let's re-grab that loop. It's kind of a inverted, a reversed, unlocking the shoulder move. All right, so we've got that loop. It's still the same size. Right between the wrists, which puts the wrists about shoulder width or even a tiny bit wider, which is perfectly fine. Wider is fine. My pelvis is basically facing this way or forward, so elbows, shoulder height. We'll just do 3 breaths together with this move. Inhale, wrists pull outward against the strap. The strap grows taut, wrangling the elbows under the footprint of the strap. Exhaling, glide the shoulders down. Reach the elbows forward, lifting them up a bit. And release. Because we haven't done that move a lot, that may feel a little extra warm. Now, with the strap dropped, take the palms and reach them back. See how my palms face the wall behind me. Inhale, it's like an ostrich variation. Exhaling, push the palms back. Note how the arms start to raise up. And now reach the fingertips downward. So the shoulders move away from the jaw. I'll say it all over again. Inhale. Keep pushing the palms backward. Find out if they start to go a little higher. Exhale, reach the fingertips down and back. So the shoulders move away from the jaw. Let's do one more. Good. Now, connect the hands for ostrich. If you want to use the straps so your hands are more widely placed, as more comfortable on your chest or shoulders, please do that. Exhaling, hinge to the inside of your left thigh, ostrich. Inhaling, bring hands down to the sacrum. Let the hands go of each other. Set the hands down. Exhaling, we'll set the right knee down for lunge. Right hand remains down. Left arm hugs that outer thigh. We hug squeeze it. Hug squeeze turns my chest, my torso to the left. And with all that abdominal play that we had done, you have the skills and the kind of the priming for breathing into the back, right? So part of us putting the front of our body really close or even on the thigh is to encourage back breathing. Really important. Inhale, unwind, hands to ground. Exhale, chaturanga. Step left foot back, lowering. Inhale, cobra. Upward dog if you love it. My shoulders are feeling kind of warm. Pulling the wrists apart, swimming the hands back. Exhaling, downward dog. These little shoulder techniques that we're doing and warming up the shoulder with, they'll really highlight differences between the shoulders. So if you have some joint differences or some different medical history through the shoulders, you'll get a highlight. Inhale, step the right foot forward, and we'll do those few moves. Other side. So I've got my loop. Oops. Got a tangle. All right, now I've got a loop. Whoop. My pelvis facing forward, warrior one. Inhale, draw the wrists apart. So the loop is suspended. Exhaling, wrangle the elbows under the wrists. Now feel and notice your visual field in these next couple of breaths. Feel the area around the neck. Good. Let the strap go. Now we'll do that ostrich variation. So remaining kind of oriented forward, navel forward, pelvis forward. Inhale, move the palms backward. So I straighten my arms, I let them down, and then I push the palms back, which actually kind of lifts my hands and lifts my arms. I just want you to feel how active the arms could be in ostrich. So lift your own arms, press your palms back to lift your own arms. Inhale into the front, the armpit, the chest. And then exhale, send the fingertips down away from the jaw. Keep lifting the palms backward. All right, exhaling, join hands. Inhale, lifting through the chest. Now for ostrich. So I can be active, pulling the hands apart, reaching them down, exhaling, lifting the wrists up, folding the torso inside the right thigh. So all that prep move hopefully just kind of informs your ostrich. These arms aren't limp levers behind your back. We're not just throwing or launching our hands up behind us, but with that gentle and precise amount of pulling, lengthening, pulling apart, pressing together, right? So being active through the arms to create a sweetness, right? An interesting sweetness. And then we can feel, hey, do I get more contracted in this energized state? And inhale, bring the hands down to the sacrum, release them for lounge lunge. Left hand to ground, exhale, left knee to ground, right arm hugs that thigh with the ribs really close, if not on the thigh. I squeeze, playing with breathing into the backside or the left side backside. So I find myself kind of intrigued by letting the pelvis, all those muscles, the coughing muscles, holding my pelvis quite steady in space. I can still breathe into my low abdomen. I can still breathe into my lumbar tissue and bones. Inhaling, unwind, hands under shoulders. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhaling, upward dog. I'm drawing the wrists apart, swimming the hands back. Exhaling, downward dog. Inhale, step or lightly jump the feet forward, monkey. Exhaling, fold. If the palms touch the ground, pull, draw the shoulders away from the jaw. Chair pose. Inhale, bend knees, reach arms up. And exhaling, stand, hands to heart. Do one more item. So, we've done a move kind of similar to this. So I'm using the wall again. This is another alternate or a standing twist. So you see my left foot, my left hip are real close to the wall, so that when I pick up my right foot, when I grab my right foot with my left hand, first I can feel and check that this right hip isn't swimming back or forward or swimming in the breeze. I'll reach the right arm back. Now, why am I using the wall? I'm using the wall to gauge the, we might say, the quietude of the pelvis. This becomes increasingly important if you're working with low back or sacral concerns or pain. I would use the wall if I had a sacral pain, absolutely. Okay, so while you're in the pose, getting into the pose, it's our left hand grabbing our right foot. Subtly feel the left hip being pulled, moving it toward the right foot. And as you're subtly connecting or drawing the left hip toward that right foot, now reach that right arm and chest back ever more. Now, whether you're looking at your right thumb or you're just picking a visual region to rest on, these next 3 breaths, feel if that field dilates or shrinks. There's no bonus points for largeness or smallness. You're just feeling if there's a correspondence between one of our perceptual faculties and another one of our whole perceptual faculties body. And we'll release to change side. All right, so standing alternate twist. I've got my right hip supported by a surface, and this allows me to pick my left foot up, grab it with the right hand. The wall helps me ensure my pelvis doesn't pivot toward the back or front. We reach that left hand back. The pelvis can remain steady. We've done many little things to help prompt and encourage that steadiness. And with that steadiness, reach out, reach, reach, reach. Can you afford that greater and further reach? And how does your breath feel in this pose? Release. Inhale, we'll set the foot down. We'll move back to our mat. And we'll just go through a sun for one more pose. Chair pose. Inhale, bend knees, reach up. We're just doing one more sun. Exhale, fold. Monkey. Inhale, lift chest away from lap. Press those arms straight down. Lift the back toward the sky. Exhale, step or jump back. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Draw the wrists apart. Swim the palms back. Exhaling, downward dog. Inhale, step the right foot forward. Twisting warrior. So I'm not just going to swing my torso over there. All this pelvis stuff. Those steadying, coughing muscles. And I'm drawing that left elbow to the right thigh. Reaching back through that left heel. Breathing into the back side, the back of the ribs. Now, as I'm pushing this left elbow down on the thigh, it's really ratcheting up a lot of abdominals. So this may be, all the priming we've done, an enormously abdominal twist. Maybe. Inhaling, unwind, set the hands down. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhaling, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Use that twisting warrior on the side. Inhale, step the left foot forward. Ha ha ha. Those, right? Keeping that pelvis rather quiet as exhale the right elbow to the left thigh. So I'm not just dropping my body, I'm doing an illustration here. I'm compressing that block, so to speak. I'm compressing that object between my elbow and my thigh. That shoulder to hip connection is mediated through the abdominals and the shoulder blade muscles, the solar plexus. So there's an enormous amount around the solar plexus and the shoulder blade, all of those shoulder muscles, that helps us feel that we're not just bending the back but we're creating a torsion, a twist, with a lot of support. Inhale, unwind, set the hands down, exhaling chaturanga, stepping back. This is our last portion here. Inhale, upward dog, wrists pull apart, palms swim back. Exhaling, downward dog. Straighten those arms fully. I bet your shoulders are warm enough to open up. Open up those elbows. Inhale, step or lightly jump feet forward, monkey. As you're exhaling, fold. Chair pose, bend knees. Inhale, reach up, and then stand. Exhale, hands to heart. Let's lie back. Shavasana. Let your eyes soften. Release, relinquish the breathing techniques. Let your breath field the shape of your breath. Enjoy an easy largeness, an easy expandedness. It's not that you are expanding your breath, but more as I allow myself and permit myself to be open to more awakeness, there seems to be an innate and effortless expansion of something which feels more alive, more full. Effortless. Aware of the cell's awareness of the cell's self is the experience, right? Just basking in that beingness. My cells are, they're cell aware. And there it is, that's that direct, unmediated experience of livingness, beingness. Cells are doing it whether you have a brain or not, whether you have a thought or not, whether there's a sensation or not. So we're getting a first-hand experience of being before there's a thought, before there's even a sensation, before we are impelled to move. All right, let's bend knees. We'll turn to a side. We'll press up to seated. Namaste.